What's going on, guys? Patrick back from Yin Yang Zing, and today for you guys I am bringing you an acronym deck. So, who remembers hat format? Hand, artifact, trap, tricks? Right. So, hat was in a format and it was really strong. Well, we've created over here at Yin Yang Zing, I've actually had a lot of help on this from Bird, a little bit of help from John and a couple other guys on the channel, and from the team, and these guys have really helped me kind of come up with these really crazy decks. So this is my take on Orcusts. I've actually changed it completely. You are going to see a much more budget-oriented version of the deck here. There's only one really expensive card that you really do have to play, and I'll show it on the screen now. You have to have this to play the deck. This card's so strong. If you can't afford it, Borreload is a okay substitute, but in my opinion, you really do have to have Boral Sword to play this deck at its full strength. That's about the only super expensive card in the deck. Everything else is pretty affordable, for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. This is only maintenance extra. We don't have a side deck for this right now. But the acronym for this is Gouki Orcust Dark Warrior, or God. So we're going to go to God format. So I'm actually going to start with the Gouki lineup, and then we're going to hit the Orcust, and then we're going to hit the Dark Warrior. So here we go. So 3 copies of Gouki Suprex. It's weird seeing Goukis again, isn't it? Yeah, it's weird seeing Goukis again. So 3 Gouki Suprex with 2 of the Twisty Boy to do the twist, you know? Alright, so Suprex lets you special summon a Gouki monster from your hand, which comes up because it's really good with the Isolde plays. Twist Cobra, and then when they're all just sent to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard, you get to search another Gouki card. So it's really strong. There are combos where if you open 2 warriors or 2 ways to two monsters you can get on the board quickly to summon Isolde, you can end the turn with Azathoth on your opponent's turn, Boral Sword, the PK Link, and 5 cards in hand. So it's pretty crazy what this deck can do, and I do really recommend playing around with it. I'm hopefully going to have some live videos that I could put up soon. I'm going to just try and record a couple like replays and stuff online. But Twist Cobra has other effects like boosting attack, but it doesn't come up too often because you end up using them as link fodder for the most part. Then 2 high levels, Bear Hug and Rescorpio, and then the low levels, which is Headbat and an Octastretch. So the only ones I'm actually contemplating upping would be Headbat and Octastretch because they're really strong in the deck overall. But that's it for the Gouki monsters. Now on to the Orcust monsters. So we have the G out of the way. Now it's time for the OD. So first up is going to be Orcust Harporer times 2 and 1 symbol skeleton. So it's a small Orcust package, but this Orcust package actually puts in a lot of work. And you'll see why. And it's super, super good. Then 2 copies of Orcust Nightmare. Nightmare's really strong. And last but not least, 2 copies of World Wand. So World Wand I upped to 2, and I've actually been contemplating upping it to 3 as well. Because when you have it, a way to get it into the graveyard, it's just super crazy strong. If you open Harporer, then what you'll do is you'll use Nightmare to send it this to the graveyard. And it's ideal to open Harporer in your hand, which is why I've been contemplating upping Harporer to 3. The ratios are hard to play with, but I am working on it still. It's not perfect, but this is my Orcust lineup. It's very small, again, but it is a really, really powerful little engine. Next up is the Dark Warrior engine. Hello, God. G.O.D. And here's the D. 2 Destiny Hero Malicious. That sounded inappropriate. I apologize. So 2 Destiny Hero Malicious. Malicious is just a free body on board. 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. It's Armageddon Knight. 1 Dark Grepher. 1 PK Ancient Cloak. And 1 Silent Boots. Self-explanatory, pretty easy, right? So in my old Orcust deck, I used to advocate to 2 Silent Boots. Now it doesn't matter as much, because you only run so many different things you can do. So next up are the Warrior Extenders, some combo starters, etc., etc. So 3 copies of Neo Space Connector. Connector's really strong. because it'll search off 1 copy of Dolphin, which is essentially you're running 6 copies of Called by the Grave. Spoiler alert. Next off for your protection for that is 2 copies of Blue Mountain Butter Spy. Butter Spy is crazy. If you open this and this, you're gonna have 4. You'll have 3 monsters on board. You could just do some crazy wonky stuff. I'm not gonna go through all the combos in this because I'm still learning them myself. We may do test hands though in the near future. If we can get this video to 20 likes, we'll do some test hands. Next up is 2 copies of Junk Forward. Okay, it's really tight on space. It's just tight on space. Junk Forward's a pretty good card. It's a free warrior extender. You can always use warrior extenders. Happy days. So we have 1 monster left, and I'm sure you can guess what it is, and we only run 1 of it. 1 Destrudo. Destrudo is your only tuner, but that comes up clutch a lot because there's 2 synchro monsters, spoilers again, that you can go into. So next up, 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is protection. It's important for this deck because if you could play... Typically your opponent, if they have 1 or 2 hand traps, you can play through 1, but if they have that second one, like, you want to be able to kill hand traps, and hand traps can really hurt the deck. So if they ash you, you want to save it for Droll or Veiler. You don't want... Ash doesn't matter because it doesn't just destroy the monster. So next up is 2 copies of Instant Fusion. That's right, more warrior extenders. Next up, we're into one-ofs. So we're going to go with the generic one-of first, and then we're going to hit the equip spells. So 1 reinforcements in the army. And now, some people are going to say you need to run 4. No. Or you need to run 5. I'm only running 4 because I have so many different levels that if I open 3 equip spells, I can still do my combos. So it's not a big deal. 1 Living Fossil. It's a combo. It's an extender. DDR. It's an extender. Phoenix Blade. It recurs itself. Moon Mirror Shield. Just as a 4th target. Doesn't come up too often, does come up occasionally. And now, the Gouki spell, only 1 rematch. It's tight on space again, but it doesn't matter because you're only going to use it once and you have to use it before you start your Orcust combo stuff. So it's Warriors, then Orcusts, and Dark Warriors kind of like blending. The Goukis play with Dark Warriors pretty well. Dark Warriors and Orcusts play well together, so they kind of all synergize around the same centralized theme. 1 copy of Orchestrated Return. This card will help you end in a hand of 5, and then your PK rank up and your Shade Brigandine. All right, so that's it for the main deck. The main deck is 45 cards. So here we go with this extra deck. So 1 copy of Mermaid, 1 copy of Cerberus, 1 copy of Phoenix. They're all really strong, and it just kind of depends on what you're playing through. If you're playing second, you'll typically go for this first if you're playing a back row. This if they're a heavy monster lineup. It just kind of depends. But if you don't know what you're playing, I recommend going for this first into this, so you save this in case they play a lot of back row. So next up is your Link 2. So Galate, Isolde, Underclock. Underclock is important for the simple fact of making Bardiche. So, and then Isolde is Isolde, and Galate is really good at pulling stuff out of deck. Next up is your rank 3s. So, your Link 3s. So here's, I have one thing that I'm actually planning on changing. I just haven't done it yet because I'm not 100% sold on it, but I'm probably going to end up doing it. A Summon Source, that's not what's changing. Lungirsu is probably going to change to Decode Talker because it gives additional targeting protection, which is always really nice. If in some cases I've actually had monsters on board where I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Because I don't have any Orcusts on field, for example, so I'm like, what? I can't make this. Then your PK Rusty Bard. So, I'm probably going to end up changing Lungirsu to Decode Talker for that reason alone. The 1 Boral Sword, that's your only Link 4. And now, into the Fusion, When raging, it's your warrior extender. That can be any level 4, 5 or below. Your synchros are going to be Cyber's Quantum Dragon and Borreload Savage Dragon. So, if you're able to get Destrudo into grave, typically, if you're going first, you want to make one of these two. It just depends on what your hand and your field looks like. It's really easy to make either or. It just kind of varies on what you're going to make. So if you have a level 3 and a level 4 on board, because the Goukis are all such different levels, you can actually make this pretty easily, or this really easily. It just depends on, do you know your matchup? Do you know what you're playing against? What's going to be stronger? Like, this is always really strong. This is sometimes really strong, so it just depends. And then your Time Thief Redoer, Outer Entity as a thought. So if your combo breaks down and you get left with just being able to make him, but you can't get into this, which happens, this is still really strong because it steals stuff and you can draw cards and just, it's degenerate. It's really strong. So that is it for my God deck, Gouki Orcust Dark Warrior. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said in the middle of the video, 20 likes and we'll do test hands. I'm really, really enjoying this deck. Hopefully later this week or at the beginning of next week, we're going to have our first podcast. The podcast will go live hopefully next week. I'm really trying to get it done. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Just leave us a like, a comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think of God. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.